If there's any bill that has generated so much controversy in Ghana, well, this bill, currently sponsored by 7 MPs, with the Nungo Pampran MP Sam George being the lead architect, is one that can count as on the list of controversial bills. It's a bill that has been presented, quote and unquote, to protect Ghanaian family values and also proper human sexual rights. There's been opposition to that bill as well, and opinions are divided on social media especially. On Face to Face, we revisit that conversation with my guest. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. You're welcome. My guest is a former Deputy Minister of State. He's a Member of Parliament and a senior member of the House of this current Parliament. He represents the people of Adansia Square. He's someone who we speak to often on energy matters and also security issues, having been a Deputy Minister for the Interior. But tonight, we're discussing issues having to do with the structure of Parliament, a bill that has been presented, and how this bill is going to go through the process, and whether there will be opposition, and how that opposition will be handled if there's any opposition at all. Honorable Kwabena Tahiru Hammond, KT Hammond as is popularly known, is the MP for Adansia Square, and he's my guest. Honorable, you're welcome to Face to Face.
Hi, my friend.
How are you?
Come sir.
I didn't add that you're a senior lawyer too.
The guys take you for granted. I think those who are watching can tell from here that
lots of books. You people scares. You people in the law profession.
The whole purpose.
Is it deliberate to intimidate people?
I was what our Professor Kofi Kumaro taught us: intimidate as much as you can. Show them the big stuff. It doesn't matter whether you know all the stuff in there or just let them be frightened.
But you definitely do. That's why you go to court and you excel.
I take you big money. It's a story he told us. When the Goku farmer comes with all the big one those days, all the big money, you tell them, you want the small book or you want the big book. So you put the two. And if they say they want the big one, you tell them how much the big book costs. So you want these big books, you pay that. And, so get on with it.
You've been quiet, too quiet. Even you've not spoken on the recent announcement by NPA, for instance, that they have reduced or removed some levies, the stabilization levy and so on, and they quote and unquote say they are going to cushion the Ghanaian. Have you followed that story?
I follow a lot of things. I don't know what you mean by I've been quiet.
We haven't been hearing much from you.
It's a limit to which KT Hammond can go on and on and on and on. I think for the last so many years, you had so much of my voice. The risk of always trying to believe or taking the risk of taking notoriety for fame. So you keep talking and talking, you hear the sound of your own voice, you think you are famous, you become notorious. So that's your point.
But if you're pushing a cause, you have to become
what cause? I used to push energy causes.
Yes.
I mean, as a substantive minister of energy, 3 deputy ministers of energy, a chairman of the energy committee in Parliament. I mean, I become a supplement.
So you mean having succeeded in bringing the party to power, now you are on the defense, so you can't really be doing a lot of that.
I don't know about defense. What do you mean about defense? I mean, I was on the front line advocating
attacking
all these things. See all the things that you're talking about. I mean, I got to a point where I've taken the back seat.
Yeah, but I'm saying that point is because the party now is in power. I mean, when you were in opposition,
I was the face, the party's face of these matters.
Yes.
We're in government. I no longer am, so I don't quite get your point. You don't just go out there and start talking when those responsible.
But if it is your turf and it is something you understand more than many, people would want to be hearing your expert views.
You don't get the structure of government. I mean, when we were in position, it was KT Hammond's voice. I mean, because I was the face, I was the voice of the MPP in opposition. The opposition phase is over. This is the government phase. New faces, new kids on the block.
We didn't see you in the first government. People thought you would be in the second
Maru.
government. I mean, we thought we would see you in the second government.
You had told me the purpose of this interview.
I know.
Aren't you debating?
No, but I'm just, I mean, that I see people just want to know.
You don't get much from KT Hammond along lines like this.
I should stop pushing.
It's clear in his mind what he wants to discuss.
I see. Let's get to it then. I'm sure we'll come back to this before the conversation ends. I'll find a way to bring it back.
Okay.
This bill that has been brought before the House.
You will get 0.0 answer.
We'll see.
The square root of 0 you will get.
I'll try. I'll try. This bill before the House, sponsored by 7 MPs.
Is it 7 or 8? I hear 7 from the NDC and 1 from the MPP side.
7 from NDC,
right.
1 from MPP.
So 8, I think.
8 MPs.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's 7. Let me just be.
Not worried.
It's either 7 or 8
between
those two figures. Now, the controversy has come through. It's a private members' bill, which means private MPs decide that they're bringing this because it will not be a burden to the state coffers and so on. Those are all the tools that they deploy. But when a bill comes like that and being controversial as it is, as leaders of the House, generally, are there conversations that are had behind the scenes? Because this has been referred to the appropriate committee. But what happens next? But I don't
understand. Why do you keep referring to it as a controversial? Seriously, speaking for myself, from what I know, among my friend, what's making the rounds, it's about the least controversial of the bills we've had to handle.
Really?
Seriously, I don't get it. The Muslims in there don't like it. Don't like what is going on, not the bills. They don't like what so-called whatever we're talking about. The Christians in there don't like it. The traditionalists in there don't like it. I don't get it. What is the controversial bit about it? Let me understand.
There are Christians. Well, I haven't seen them in church. And Muslims, I haven't seen them in church. Well, but maybe if you look at their names on social media,
okay.
I mean, they are supporting that. I've seen a list of 18 CSO leaders.
18?
Lawyers, who have written a memorandum to the committee
to say that
to say that you should throw out the bill.
Throw it. Well, I mean,
they're even using a hashtag "kill the bill."
They are members of parliament for which constituencies?
None.
Come on, Mario, develop your arguments. I'm listening to you.
You mean you will not even listen to them? Is that not how committees were? You listen to memorandum?
No. You want that to develop it? That's fine. I mean. 1960, the Criminal Code of Ghana, I think that's actually 29 or something, I think it's 29, 30, 29. 1960, there's a clear prohibition on the things that you're talking about, the gay, carnal knowledge and whatever, It's looked after us for so many years now.
They say it's not clear-cut.
Well, yes, they say it's not clear-cut. Now I am told that this whole thing has come about because suddenly we hear that those, I call them deviants, I call them whatever, so they have decided that they were going to set up a hub or something in Accra or something. I think that is what panicked friends like...
they opened an office in
They
Accra
have. So this is what I think... I use the word panic, but that's what forced the likes of Sam George and other colleagues, 6 or 7, 8 of them, to decide on a private member's bill. Along the line, yes, we heard it just before the last session closed. We heard that there was something like that cooking. In the end, you guys say that it's had its first reading or something. You see?
No, I'm not sure if it's been laid. I'm not even sure if it's been tabled to the appropriate committee.
Those in Parliament don't even know the state of it. And yet there's so much, there's pandemonium, literally.
Is not genuine pandemonium?
I just can't fathom it. We have not reached a panic station. Simple as that. Okay, so they went through this process. We heard about it. Now let's start from scratch. For the time that I have been in Parliament, there was this debate about private members' bill. Most of the speakers that I've gone through took the view that it was difficult for private members' bill to be laid, considering the constitutional imperative on the financial implication of such private members. You can bring a bill, all right, but you must ensure that it doesn't offend against, as I said, the constitutional imperative. If it is going to be a burden, create financial burden on the state coffers, you couldn't do it. Many speakers who have come and gone have made a ruling that we couldn't do it because almost invariably any bill that comes in there would have something to do with the finances. So we haven't had the opportunity to do it. Now, this time around, somehow, Speaker Babin decided that we could do it. People should bring as many bills as they could. we haven't been sure whether some of this would breach the constraint that I've talked about or not. So I think he agreed that people could come by way of private members. So this thing came in. And some of us originally thought that this was too big a matter to come by way of private members' bill. So, but of course, if the speakers allowed it and it to be debated in Parliament, at least we should be given the opportunity. All of a sudden, there's all this in making the rounds that it's only the NDC side which is interested and the MPP side is not interested. It's natural that you have the NDC side leading the charge because they actually brought it about. They are the promoters of the. So I would have thought that the public will be a bit patient and listen to us, see what happens, and then remember, we're on recess. We might be going back to Parliament, I think, just before the end of the month or so.
This is Face to Face on City TV. My name is Umaru Sandamado. My guest is Adansia Square Member of Parliament, Honorable KT Hammond. We are walking through this bill, which I've described as controversial, in which he disagrees. Says it's actually the least controversial bill in the House. The reason it's becoming controversial is that, well, we were told that in fact, Sam George told me in an interview on this particular platform that before they brought the bill before the House, they had as many as 4 NPP MPs on their team. And just before they delivered this, 3 of them were given a sort of an invisible 3-line whip to take their names off. They were left only with Reverend Tim Fojo, who is maybe a Reverend Father or Reverend Minister. So he is allowed to hang on and be part of the NDC MPs who have brought that bill. Perhaps that's where the controversy started from. And now people will even think that it's just an NDC agenda and that NPP people are not supporting the bill.
No, I'm hearing this from you for the first time. I mean, I don't know about it. If it is a 3-line whip...
it was invisible. It wasn't...
visible and invisible. Dipojo is one of us. It's actually a minister. So why would somebody allow him, a minister? If it goes against the grain of the administration, why would the minister be allowed?
Maybe because he's argued on a point of morality and said, look, I'm a pastor, allow me to be. Because he's only NPP MP.
Well,
out of 200,
no,
you're 137.
It's curious that it happens. You see, let me explain to you. I tried explaining that to you, I think, previously. When you are in a government, you don't go out of your way to initiate bills. We should get this right. For the years that I said I've been in this Parliament, and you know that, we haven't had private members introducing bills, members of Parliament introducing bills. By its very nature, the operation of Parliament is predicated, at least with respect to making of laws, on bills introduced by the executive. That's all we've been doing. Of course, we are conscious of the provision in the Constitution, which allows for private members to come out with bills. Yes. But I've told you, it has financial implications. So whenever any group of people it's actuated to come up with this, there is that drawback, the financial provision thing. So I'm saying that the current speakers allow that we can bring any bills at all. But you see, we must also be conscious, those of us in the majority are also in government. You see, you don't sit in the majority parliament with your government and you start initiating bills. It doesn't work like that, particularly bills of this magnitude. I've said it. I admit that it is not controversial, but it's a big one. I mean, everywhere in the world, you're on the back of governments and the threats here, left, right, and center. One has to be very careful. But this is the case where the president is on record. That is, with respect, for me, my language, I was going to go on about a choice, whether it's the nonsense or the foolishness of what is going on. The president says, not under my watch. It wouldn't happen. It's very clear.
But he also was quoted somewhere saying, it is bound to happen.
I don't recall what he meant by it is bound to happen, if he ever said it. I don't recall that. What I do vividly remember is the president saying that it won't be on my watch. That is the presidency or the parliament. So it means, for us, it meant that nothing was going to come from the presidency to legalize it. I think it is now the reverse of it. Some group of people took the initiative that, well, they were apprehensive of something that was cooking. So they wanted to preempt it. They did that. The reason why I said that you do not find a lot of NPP members on it is because we are in government and we do not, considering that there's an executive, we kick off.
You should push it. But some judge has explained that it's a private member's bill because it will not incur cost to the taxpayer. And so usually private members' bills are only problematic when they are going to lead to cost. Now, based on the explanation he has given, your colleagues could have been free to join. If on the draft he says that they had...
Let's get this thing.
Then there's someone asking them not to.
No. Take my word. No, that is not true. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you, and I'm saying that all of us, and the president didn't talk to me.
Maybe someone not up to your level.
Well, no. If the president is, okay, so if the president is not up to my level, and the seniors are telling our colleagues that, well, there's no impediment in our way, we could support it, then what is the problem?
The problem would be that, so the Speaker of Parliament is on record to have said ABCD is willing and on the
to allow it go.
But people are generally saying that NPP MPs aren't talking about this.
But that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying hard to get across. No, what is this is that the 8 of them take away the 7 or 6, take away Fojo, keep the 6 on there. They are the promoters. Naturally, they are the people. I've explained why they are the promoters and we are hanging in here. We are in government. If anything, maybe the executive will come up with something and we're bound to support it. This time around, some members on the minorities have decided to kick it off, to start it off. We've seen it. I actually have seen the draft. When there was all this talk about it, I asked for a copy of the draft. So I won't tell you that I've gone through, so I've studied the details of it. No, I've seen it. So we were actually hoping that Parliament will come back from recess. We'll sit down, we'll all go through, and if the Speaker gives the go-ahead and we're allowed to take it through the processes, we're all going to support it. Because it is a situation, that's why I told you that it is the most, the least controversial of all of them.
But you see, so for persons who accuse your side of not being part of this, it's because of utterances by some of your colleagues.
Like who?
So
who said
Frank,
what, for example?
He's your whip.
He said what?
He's MP in Sawame Nigeria.
He said what?
He says, and I'm going to quote for you. He says, though they are silent on the matter, that's the MPP side, which includes you, it doesn't mean they are against the bill or are not making any input. Sure. However, the bill is, as of now, defective. When he says the bill is defective...
He's entitled to that view. I've told you that I haven't read the details of it. There may well be some issues with, number one, I am telling you that it's a private member bill to start with. I am conscious of the financial implication of this. So, some judge may say that there are no financial implications. At this stage, I'm not prepared to argue with him because I'm not so sure. I haven't studied it, and so I can't contest him on that. We'll come back to the floor and we'll all debate it.
Your whip,
if the Speaker...
Let me quote the whip for you. Quote, we need to fine-tune it to ensure that it maximizes the protection of rights and freedoms in consonance with democratic principles as we have practiced uninterrupted for over 3 decades.
Full stop. What is the problem? That's all there is about. I'm not sure some judge intends by this to trample on the right of anybody.
He doesn't.
He doesn't. So that is what Another Prayer is saying. Indeed, that is what I'm saying. And I've said that a few times. This is the bill. I'm not sure it's going to go out wholesale. I haven't seen one bill that has gone through that Parliament wholesale.
It will be scrutinized.
It's always scrutinized. So if Another Prayer is saying that what you just read out to me, that will make sure that it doesn't offend against the rights of anybody, it will get the balance right. That is it. We'll go to, that is the point of our consideration. We do what we call the first reading. If it's already been introduced and it's been submitted to the Committee on Constitutional and Legal, whatever, that is the first one. They will go and prepare their report, study it, prepare their report, bring it to Parliament with their report. And then we will then get into the details.
Your party Deputy General Secretary, Nana Obrigwine,
yes,
is worried over the silence of majority NPP MPs over the bill criminalizing activities of homosexuals.
You see, this is what I am so not clear about. I mean, what is that? We are not at any panic station. We are not. We are on recess. We are on recess. Before we left for recess, there was no panic.
But the NDC MPs are talking during recess. He says, I'm quoting your deputy again. According to him, apart from the MPP MP Jonathan Fojo, every other name mentioned when the issue came up is that of the NDC.
Because again, they are the promoters. You don't expect me to be talking when I'm not a promoter.
But if you want us to believe that this bill has a unanimous decision.
I'm surprised at this. Mario, you see this. People talk about the constitution, the constitutional whatever, constitution, and constitutional rights and whatever. Let me show you something. Read the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. You see something that you find quite interesting. Have you seen it? The Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and it says here, in the name of the Almighty God. The Almighty God, into brackets, Almighty Allah, into brackets, Almighty Onyankopon Krediapon. So you see, all the
introducing that.
But that is, it is there. It is there, Almighty God. It's in the God's name that this thing was procured. God's name that this thing was prepared. This thing is in God's name. People are talking about rights and religion.
I'm just saying Onyankupo you added is not in print. You are adding it just
the Allah is not also. God is Allah.
What's your point with
God
that?
is Allah, and then Onyankopon Krediapon is Allah.
Yes.
I'm saying that this thing was done in the name of God. You read it. It says, the Yankopon, in the name of God, we the people of Ghana. So our spirit, our soul, our aspirations, everything is encapsulated in this document, which is printed with God's name embossed deeply in it. So
we are told that the right to religion includes the right not to subscribe to any religion. What about people who don't subscribe to this religion that has this God?
Which those are the Yankopon people?
No. They are atheists, for instance, who don't believe in any God.
Well, they don't believe in any God.
Yes, so they cannot subscribe to this.
In Ghana, as I told you, the majority of us in the, I don't know about a single one. Well, I mean, Parliament, who doesn't subscribe to one of the three that I've told you? Islam, Christianity, or the traditional religion. We all, the three are all there. Three are fairly represented in there. I'm not sure about the third one, but fairly represented there. And we all use this constitution. This constitution is the background, is the fulcrum, the pivot on which the constitution, the dispensation we talk about, constitution, our democratic dispensation revolves on this. So if we're doing something which God either prohibits or God asks us to live by, prohibits or to live by the tenets of God. I mean, what is this business about everybody crying out about the disagreements and by my religion, and people said it's not religious. It is religious.
I will come back to you.
It is. Well, I don't know what it is.
There's Honorable KT Hammond. He's a Muslim. He wants to say it's religious. That's where some people have an argument as to why you want to legalize religion. Yeah. That's a conversation we'll be talking about when we come back. This is Face to Face on City TV. My name is Umaru Sandamadu. Don't go away.
This is Fact Finder from the BBC.
We live in a world where news travels fast, and sometimes it's hard to differentiate fact from fiction. Fact Finder brings fact-checking from the newsroom up close so you can separate truth from chaff. Be empowered to tell what's fake from what's real. Watch Fact Finder by the BBC on City TV every Wednesday at 6 p.m. City TV. It's your world.
You're welcome back to Face on City TV. My name is Umaru Sandamadu. My guest is Adansi Asukwa Member of Parliament, Honorable KT Hammond. We are discussing the bill before the House, which is to criminalize LGBTQI+. He believes, and even though many people hold the view that NPP MPs seem not to be supporting, he holds the view that there is a unanimous support for that bill. 137 NPP MPs, that's what you have. You are sure that all of you are supporting this bill?
Absolutely. I mean, the bit that you read out to me about another prayer is perfect. It's the quintessential statement. It's look, we don't sit there and pass out crap. Whatever it is, when the executive brings any document, we sit down, go into the minutiae, convince ourselves that we are coming out with the law that will stand the test of time. Along the line, we make amendments here and there when we perceive that certain situations have arisen, which have overtaken the situation which led to those things. We make amendments, but we don't just wholesale pass anything. So another is saying that we may not be saying anything now, but that's not to say that we are against it. That document will come to the floor. We would cannibalize it, and that is what we do.
You slice and dice it.
We do all sorts of things to it, and then in the end, we'll look at it in the mirror and say to you, this is a perfect job, and that's what we want to go out there. We don't want to, I've said it many, many times, we don't want to cannibalize the rights of anybody. At the same time, we will not allow any group of deviants to subject the rest of us to whatever.
So you believe that in the chamber you have the numbers on the NPP side as well?
I have told you.
How about external forces close to power? Gabriel Tridako is not a member of the government.
Is he external force? I don't understand.
He has made a series of tweets suggesting in not so many words that this agenda is purely to make the governments of Ghana, or for that matter Ghana, unpopular issues having to do with aid and so on, and that we already have enough legislation to deal with this matter, and that this is very needless to put this bill before and just go through all this trouble. Do you not think that would possibly inform the minds of
incidentally, I haven't read those things. I haven't read those things. So I'm not sure Gabi intends to pollute the minds of any.
Because that's what people may start drawing inferences and say, perhaps he's speaking the views of...
I haven't read those things. You see, as I indicated from the very beginning, there is a law in this country, and it has been in existence from the 60s in our criminal code. There is that section about it, so that's it's been good so far. There hasn't been any difficulty. I think what has happened now is slightly different. The law says if you do ABC and this and that kind of knowledge and this, it will be this. We're now seeing something on a different dimension. They are talking about the LPGGs and the GM minus and plus GT, some crazy names. People perceive, at least from the promoters of the bill, they perceive that, well, there might be some inadequacies in the previous law as we have it. So let's twitch it around and make sure that we have a composite whole kind of legal situation to fight back on whatever.
The people who
I'm not sure comments by Gabi
can affect any.
I don't know about that. I haven't heard.
The people who oppose this bill say that the bill is coming. In fact, they describe it in so many words, including to say that it is akin to what used to happen in medieval Europe, where witches are accused and burnt or hanged, and that this document...
You see, I wouldn't let you go on that time.
No, this is not me. Okay. This is a group of 18 senior lecturers, professors, CSO leaders. They have described this bill as backward, taking us way back. And they say that we shouldn't accommodate that. The House should not accommodate this particular bill at this time because it will even trample on the rights of people. You do not agree that there could be someone in Adansi Asukwa who is LGBTQI?
It's the LGBT sitting in the room. You think we put cameras, Big Brother is watching everybody's room and whatever. You sit in your room, you know what you and I would do in our rooms? So you have your thing that you do in your room and whatever. Who would do anything to? What we are saying that you would not be allowed to pollute the public morals of this country. We would not agree. Full stop. The professors, the whatever, 16 of whatever, they have no vote in parliament. We'll bring the law out.
They have representatives in parliament.
Well, so get them the representatives to come and vote against it, and they go back to their constituencies and answer to their constituents. It's a delicate matter for those MPs, not for the likes of us. We are clear in our minds.
It's not an emotional argument.
What is emotional? Listen. See, we'll go back. You say it's emotional. I need you to explain this things to me. And again, we have to go to the scriptures.
You started with the Constitution.
So we have to go back to everything.
Should you not take time as lawmakers to go through and say, okay, these people have written this memorandum. Yeah. Let's listen. Wait a minute. Let's see.
But we'll do that.
What argument?
I'm saying we'll do that.
Yeah, but
you see,
outrightly,
the core of it is that, I'm telling you, the bottom line is that we hate it. Well, we hate the phenomenon, whatever.
When you say we, who and who?
Well, members of Ghanaians.
The opponents say that that's not true.
I am prepared. We have about 30. The statistics tells us now that we are 30-something million or something. I am prepared to go by 30. Give the 0.1 million to those who are against it. The remaining 30 million, are in favor that we stop this nonsense taking seed in our country.
You are stifling the 1 million.
Well, come on. You think we should allow the vociferous 1 million of a tiny minority to subject all over to the rest of us, the 30?
They
Opposition
are
would
humans,
always.
they are Ghanaians.
I mean, so we don't. They are humans, but the system that we've grown up in, you grew up in, I grew up in, detest it. We don't want it in our country. We don't want it.
They make series of arguments. They say that
we sit here and go through all the arguments. In the end, what matters is the decision we take in that house.
They say that they should even be considered martyrs in the future.
They will be considered what?
Martyrs.
Who's going to kill them?
No, not that because they die, or heroes maybe, if you like.
Yeah, that one.
That when people were fighting against slavery, there were people who didn't agree with that fight. Today, we are celebrating those who fought against slavery. And today, what they are doing, they believe, even though they are fighting for a very minute
Mr. Amaro, it's atrocious, it's nauseating, it's annoying if we start making such silly comparisons. The matter of slavery, it's an entirely different ball game.
It's a right issue.
But I'm saying that we know what it was, maybe using human beings for the sort of things that they use our forefathers for. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's an entirely different thing when you talk about people who stood up those days and were fighting against this. It was the inhumanity of human beings against other human beings. It's a different concept altogether. What we are talking about now, it's fundamentally different. Let's come back to it. Those who are beginning to think that you are the
opponents.
Those guys. You are their head coach. I'm beginning
Which
to
one?
think
No,
that. They're beginning to think that. If your mother hadn't given birth to you, you wouldn't be sitting here. You know.
But they say that science defines that particular logic that you've just espoused.
That what?
And that you don't necessarily have to be man and woman
to have babies.
To produce.
So now science can produce babies for
It's happening.
My friend, develop some other points. You see,
it's not me. I'm just putting their points to you.
They are wasting your time. They are wasting my time. Is
it a religious argument you're making or a legal argument?
Yes.
Because you're Muslim, right?
No, I'm prepared to do both. Mm-hmm. Indeed, not I'm prepared to do both. I'm doing both. Mm-hmm. I'm doing both. Religion-wise, we all subscribe to something. We all disagree with what these few people are doing. We say that they are social deviants. At least, listen, the advanced countries and whatever, suddenly they are talking about this. And, what is the name again? Turing, that famous mathematician, the what do you call it, the code breaker, the guy who helped the Allied forces to defeat the Germans in the Second World War. Turing, that was his name. Mm-hmm. You know what happened to him? You know what happened to him? He was accused of being a homosexual. Do you know what happened to him? You see, suddenly the eyes of the world is open. It was fairly recently, 2000 whatever, that British Parliament enacted a law to redeem his. This was the man who cracked what is the name? The code for them to be able to defeat the Germans. Mm-hmm. But because of his homosexuality and all his whatever, you go and read it. What happened to him? Suddenly, they thought that, well, that probably is not suddenly. After a lot of reflection and thinking, the British Parliament, Westminster Parliament, came out with a bill, a law to redeem him posthumously. I mean, what's the word? Posthumously. Yes. So, those that they were killing them. They were killing them. Homosexuals were hunted down and killed.
And that's what these people, this group of people who are
that's not what we are doing. We are not saying that. They've always known that it's not human. It is there in the Bible, it is there in the Quran, it's there that we don't do this sort of thing. That is the social, this is the environment that we've been brought up.
As a parliament,
now you're talking about the law, but you see, the law that we put up, the law that we come up with, the law that Parliament passes, it's a reflection on the social ambience, on our culture. Yes. You don't set up a law, you don't come up with a law which has no reflection, has no basis, has no standards in our society. But it is the spirit of go on.
The argument is that you shouldn't legalize morality.
So you can dichotomize the two. In the end, it comes to the same thing. This is all right. tell me any of the other laws that you think has no moral in it. Don't steal. I mean, who is fighting about the fact of theft? We have a law in Ghana which prohibits or which bans or which criminalizes stealing. What is the problem? The man is poor. He wants your property. He goes for it. I mean, what is your problem with that? Hasn't he got the right to steal your property? He's got the right. I mean, to steal it. There is a law which criminalizes that. You do that, you go to prison. I mean, he decides to take your life. What is it? Gets a gun, he shoots you, he kills you. That is right. I mean, what am I legalizing here? What is it? You see, we're distorting and contorting these issues by conflating all sorts of arguments. It doesn't work like that. We can do religious, we can do legal, but it is legal. If it is religious, it is religious, it is illegal, because the society has taken a certain stand. And the stand is born out of our environment, born of our society.
You keep saying society. There are people
society, you see, you would always have
people who, I mean, I've seen the church, I've seen the mosque, all of these who are opposed to it.
Sure.
But there are people who hold the view that if you held a referendum, for instance, you would be shocked that maybe our society has long evolved and that you are still stuck in the old days, believing that people don't believe it, when it's actually being practiced. And the people who are opposed to this bill are Ghanaians, born here, the same culture, the same society,
sure,
and yet they are supporting.
But you have decided to, I'm telling you that you won't have a situation where you have 100% acceptance of everything. I think the important thing is that you have the majority, and for this matter,
the tyranny of the majority.
What else do you want? I mean, during the Greeks, those are types of the whatever, the whole society had to be.
Can the majority always be right?
I'm prepared to accept the dictatorship of minority than the confusion that the minority always introduces in the system. The majority can't be stupid all the time. It might not get it right, but I cannot for the life of me think that 80% of the population would always be silly, they get things wrong. It's only the tiny, well, you can call it significant minority, the 10% or whatever. I mean, they can always, they get it right.
Okay.
No.
So you've mentioned the criminal code from 1960 that we have been using, which has been well for us.
Yeah, sure.
The argument, and again, the point would be, what is your fear? Why do you have to bring another law?
Well, that's what I tried to explain. You see, I have had occasion to ask myself, when this thing started cooking, I wasn't sure what it was, because as I said, we have this law already. So, but I heard that something else was cooking. The group of people were planning to establish a headquarters, a hub, and whatever. That's not been catered for in the criminal law as it is now.
There are religious groups that have the right to set up anything they want in this country.
Religious group, there's nothing. I've shown you the constitution built on God, I mean the word of God, in the name of God. So what the religious groups are doing, they are teaching us the way to go to heaven. What's wrong with that? You want to criminalize that?
Let's look at the repercussions.
Of what?
Several countries are already legalizing LGBTQI.
Okay.
And even in Africa.
Legalizing?
Yes.
I don't know about
the activities of that. In Ghana, we are going to bring this
I'm quite happy to deal with what's going on in Ghana.
No, my point is that
other countries,
are we as a country, and indeed you as Parliament, when you pass this, are you not worried about the international ramifications and consequences of passing this bill, which is considered by opponents of it as being draconian?
Now, let's get in there to Parliament. I wonder when we'll come back. Let's have a good look at the bill itself. And then I think we will come to some consensus at that stage. We'll see what happens. There's whole argument about whether it's draconian, it's whatever. See, the bottom line, as far as I'm concerned, the bottom line is that we would not allow homosexuality to take seat in Ghana. Whichever form that will get it going, we will not allow
Even
that.
if it means aid will be cut to you, like David Cameron threatened at Amils.
David Cameron, what did he do?
Well, there was a plan to tie,
I don't know about it. Let's see what happens. We're not fighting. Of course, there's something entirely onto ourselves. No, we are not. But by the same token, or maybe a similar token, we're not going to be cowards because somebody threatens that they won't do this, they will do this, they will do that. Listen, I'm not going to postulate. Yeah, sure.
If you are vociferous against this, and we've seen in the past where the community of LGBTQ wrote a petition and mentioned a number of people that it said was...
You see, let me tell you something. If they write, the community write, we won't read it. You see, if they write, we will read it. I'm telling you.
If you don't read it, how would you know what they are? They are your constituents. You have to read and hear from them.
I'm clear. You know me. I'm certain in my views. I'm prepared to look at the submissions by those who say that they are referring to the law, the constitution, and those other aspects, the Charter of Human Rights. We'll look at those. I'm not going to read any memo from anybody who claims openly to be a homosexual or LGBTQ plus minded. I won't read it. Complete waste of my time.
Even if the person voted for you in the last election. And
I don't have a single one of them, to the glory of Almighty Allah. There's not one single of them in my constituency.
How do you know?
Because I know.
You
know what they have been telling me.
But you can't know what's happening in their bedrooms.
You see, well, listen, I'm not sure what they tell me is or is not a reflection on what happens in their bedroom. But everybody is telling me to be careful. And my other colleagues are telling me, they are telling them to be careful. If we ourselves are not careful already, our constituents are telling us to be careful.
You have lived in the UK for many years.
You see, have I been decolonized or recolonized or what are you talking about?
Yeah,
I've been in the UK. It's like everybody there in the UK is whatever. Let me play something to you that has been recorded by somebody in the UK. Should I play it to you?
No,
so you see,
but
not everybody in UK subscribes to this foolishness. Full stop.
You want to call it? You call it foolishness.
Listen, you see the sense, you see the emotion with which some of us talk about this is. It's simply, it's evil. It is not good. You don't believe in the Bible. You don't believe in the Quran. You don't believe in the worship of whatever.
Believe in something?
Well, you see, they don't have to believe in something, but don't voice anything on us. We do not like it.
What if this thing actually comes to Parliament and gets thrown out? You would be so disappointed
No.
you thought you had everybody on your side.
No. I mean, no. It would not take my word. It would not be thrown out of Parliament because of lack of votes. If whatever happens constitutionally, listen, I haven't looked at the wording of the draft as just opposed to the letter and the spirit of the Constitution properly. I haven't. I am not going to pretend over anything that eventually sins against the constitutional provisions of the district. We will have time, look at the constitutional provisions, look at what's in there. If we have to tweak this thing all over the place to make sure that we've got a good deal, we will do it.
You have 275 MPs. You never know. Maybe some of them are actually LGBTQI. And so when you are thinking,
be careful. Somebody's going to sue you. Somebody's going to sue you. I won't be party to this.
No, you represent me. You'll be my lawyer.
No, I don't know any of our colleagues who
I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying there may be. And when you are here,
and we don't get 275, fine. I'm not supposing that we may get.
Yeah, but my point is that when you are here,
so 2-3 of them don't vote for it.
Yeah, but my point is that you sound too confident.
I am confident because I am a senior member of the House.
Yeah, maybe they are fooling you all.
Come on, we don't do that there. We don't do that. We call KT Hammond, you see foolishness written in my face. You see fool written in my face. No, we talk. I mean, you hear people. Look, the extent to which people hate, the strength of hatred people have about this thing, you have no idea. There are people who are more passionate than I am talking to you. Just that maybe they haven't come out. We simply do not want to hear about this LGBT, whatever, in this country, period.
What if it gets
you see, you
out?
go on and what if it won't be anything? It will come back to square root of zero. It won't get anything out of it.
What if it gets thrown out, this bill?
I've told you, get thrown out not for lack of support, but maybe for constitutional whatever.
It will still have been thrown out.
But no. Nobody is going to pass a bill in that house that's against the Constitution. We wouldn't do that. So if it is thrown out because of the constitutional constraints, it's an entirely different thing. It's not because we don't support it, but we have problems with the Constitution. So far, from what I've seen, I don't see much which is against the Constitution. But that is because I haven't read it into details. Just let's come back to Parliament. See, I don't know what this whole debate is about. When we are on recess, we haven't come back to Parliament yet. The document is not on the table. We are not cannibalizing it. We are not looking at it. And there is panic station. MVP, this, MVP. You think you look at them. Tell me one MVP member. Look at them. You know all of them. Guess them. Look at them. Tell me who. I'm going to tell them. Marius, I guess that you guys are all pofters. I'm going to tell you.
I haven't said that.
I'm going to tell them.
It's your own people on social media who are accusing you of being too silent.
We are silent, as I said, because I mean we are on recess, waiting for this document. Has to go to Parliament, get the guideline from the Speaker, and then we see how it goes. It would be discussed, provided the Speaker allows it. It will be discussed.
There are churches that superintend over gay marriages. in the West and other places.
I'm pleading with you. You stop roping in the West.
But we consider that...
The same West, you know what is going there, whatever is angry, I can mention names, you know. Some people are angry. Others say that, what was that? We are solid, you know, united in our revulsion of what is going on. Unfortunately, in Ghana, we don't have that. I mean, in the other parts of this world that you're talking about, some church members, A, B, C, D, back here, I've told you, the Christians, Muslims, the whatever. Did you watch this thing on your thingy? What's the name? Sunyani or Techima or something, the bloke.
Yeah.
It was a live goal. That is the traditional part. They don't like it. It's actually an abomination.
It has been with us all these generations, they say.
Well, they don't do it in public. Abomination, they do it whatever they do it. In public, it's abomination. What if
a private member brings a bill in support of LGBTQI or in promotion of LGBTQI? What would you do?
Oh, listen, Omaro, I'm sure you're a serious bloke. You're
I'm serious.
You're beginning to waste my time.
I'm asking a very
from all that I've said, if you now on the flip side say somebody brings it in support of it,
it's possible.
Who is going to do that?
Anybody in the house could do it. Out of the 275.
So why do you want me to spend time?
I'm asking.
Why do I have to do that? From all that I've told you, if you now turn around and ask me, well, if somebody brought that, what would you do? What are you saying to me? I'm telling you that 100% of that would support a bill against them. Now you're saying that, well, if somebody brings one in support of them, what would you do? Well, you want to force me to give you an answer. We would 100% vote against that one. That is the answer to the question.
This is Face to Face on City TV. My name is Umaru Sandamad. I'm speaking to a leading member of the House of Parliament and who is serving notice that the bill that has been presented, unless it has some technical issues, would go through. And that's the bill, the anti-LGBTQ, as it's popularly known as. When we come back, we'll delve into other issues. Don't go away. This is Face to Face.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. City TV, it's your world.
You're welcome back to Face on City TV. My name is Umaru Sandamad. My guest is Adansi Asukwa Member of Parliament, Honorable KT Hammond. We are discussing the bill before the House, which is to criminalize LGBTQI+. Akotompo is a lawyer. Your party and your I don't want to say your president, but the president used him as his lawyer in the law courts, the Supreme Court of the land, in the just ended election petition, and he won. Yeah. It means he knows his law. I'm not sure he would be penning alongside several other people against a bill that's been introduced before the House if he thought that it was not something useful to the society. Clearly, Akotompo wouldn't be signing on to this if he didn't think there was merit in what he was signing on.
No. I don't quite understand your argument. I keep on saying at home that when we're at home, we don't talk law. So the fact that I'm not talking law at home does not indicate that whatever we are discussing is either good or bad for the society. I don't quite understand it. Probably from a moral aspect of it, it's not happy that some of us are taking the position that we have taken. He thinks that everybody should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. Mm-hmm. He probably has also looked at the law and is saying that were some aspects of the law. So he's saying that he went to the Supreme Court as a lawyer. Mm-hmm. So some aspects of whatever is been tabled in Parliament, he probably has a difficulty with it. So he probably is talking as a lawyer. That's what they say that because I've been a good lawyer at the Supreme Court, I'm repository, I mean, for the, no, he can't be saying that. And so I'm not sure. I've heard that he's come out against it in some form. What exactly Chichi has said, I'm not so sure. We'll find out. I think
he's part of the 18 people.
They petitioned.
Yes,
so whatever he said is worthy. I told you that we'll have a good look at. I was telling you that those themselves who practice that thing, we will have no time.
Are there chances he may convince you, Sheshe, and his friends may convince you if you read?
No, on the legal part of it. And I've told you, we'll look at the Constitution. On the legal part of it, if he makes a point, which clearly is in breach of the Constitution, of course, no, why not? Yeah, but on the societal...
He says that it breaches the aspect of the Constitution that talks about human rights.
Yeah, okay, that's what he says.
That these people have rights.
Yeah, and the thieves don't have rights.
And they have...
Murderers don't have rights.
Yeah, but maybe that...
Prostitutes don't have rights.
They argue that...
My own body, prostitution, I'm a woman, my own body, I want to use it for whatever purpose. The law says you can't do that. Is he saying that lawyers and prostitutes don't have that? We should be very careful where this right thing will take us, you know, where we intend to stretch this. We have rights, but your right ends at where my rights begin. Well, we say no, but where my rights begin, your thing must end there. So if we say that they all have rights, we all have rights, true, they have rights. But I also think that armed robbers have rights, you know, but we say you can't do it. So this rights business, we would have to look at, I mean, what it says, and the Constitution ensures that certain laws are made. But there are restrictions on everything. I mean, you look at the European Convention on Human Rights, the African Charter of Human Rights, the United Nations, whatever. It's not untrammeled. You don't have an ending sort of right game. Right circumscribed for the purpose of the benefit of everybody. You are not allowed to utilize the issue of right to intimidate others. It just doesn't happen in society. So I'm quite happy to respect whatever Sheshe says. I mean, respect in terms of the law. I mean, we are happy to differ in terms of what we think respectively about the phenomenon that we describe it. And then they keep adding to it, LBG, PDG, Q+. We don't know where we're getting to. But fine, he's entitled to his own views with respect to that.
They say that
the law, if he brings up anything which is contrary to the Constitution and which is embedded in the law, we're quite happy to respond.
They say that if you are asking for a law to be brought against people's sexual preferences, then you should also bring a law that prohibits or would...
So you can go on
or criminalizes...
with all these
they talk
examples.
about criminalizing adultery, they talk about criminalizing polygamy and all of these
Start
things.
with something. For now, I think they're starting with what we're talking about. Let's start with that. You can also bring private members, whatever, from studios of City FM. No big deal.
I don't have the capacity. I'm not a member of parliament.
So let them.
Yeah, but so their point is that if you are allowing this, why didn't you bring that?
We're not going to go to what you call postulations and all sorts of suggestions into the future. What is presently, I'm not sure that is English. What at present is before us is the LGBT thing.
The anti-LGBT.
Yeah, let's handle that. And when that is done, you can come up or whoever. They can sponsor. They don't have to. Maru, you don't have to be physically there in Parliament. You can sponsor. They get people, members of Parliament, to bring things against whatever, against old age, against youth, against multiple possibilities to bring them. You know. So
that people say LGBT issue is a political one, and that you may lose your seat depends on how you vote.
No, I've actually said it. Yes. Yeah, well, I'm so confident you will lose your seat if you don't support this thing.
Are you sure?
Listen, Omaro, you know the strength of support and support and
is it not
opposition.
camouflage?
You see,
people pretending maybe.
Yes, I don't like that. It's only MPP, what do you call it? Delegates. The delegates are voting thing. it is only that you find the abortius. But in the real context of no, they are very genuine. You can see the feelings oozing from their hearts. It's simply against it. I mean, you can tell from they express the horror, the disgust on the face when they discuss this. It is about the only thing that people are not even able to call it by its true name. People just waffle around it because they don't even know how to describe it.
Let me ask you a question that a lot of pro-LGBTQ people ask people who are opposed to LGBTQ. Yeah. They say, if your son came home and said to you,
I'm not prepared.
You won't answer that. They say you are running away from
my son comes from home from where? And then he says what to me?
He's gay.
He says what?
He's gay.
That what? I'm gay.
No, he is gay.
Yeah, my son, me, your son, I'm gay.
Yes. What would you do?
Why would he come and tell me that nonsense?
No, he's just saying to you
Master, you have a last question to put.
That's my last question, actually. Unyano.
I realized that Sam George was put that question by, what's his name?
Larry on CNN.
I'm sure he didn't have the answer. I'm not even sure what he said.
No, he said he has children who are not.
I heard he said he has this students.
No, but seriously, so you answer this question. If how about your close family member says to you that, oh, this is what I am, what would you do? Cast him out of the family?
Do you have more questions or you don't?
We're done?
Give me some questions. KT Hammond says come down every year. Look, it's G's. Now I'm speaking cheap. You just don't waste my time and stuff.
No, it means you don't believe your son will ever come and say that to you.
No, not on this.
It's not in the gene.
No, it's not.
But it's not a gene thing.
Well, whatever it is. Actually, what is it? It's a sickness, it's a brain thing. What is it? Tell me, what is it? What is it?
I don't know.
This whole thing is, if it is a disease, it's whatever. We should get the doctors to do something about it. Simply, I'm telling you, it is nothing. It is a new what call it? It's these guys, the millennials, they're coming out with all sorts of things. And that if care is not taken, they're going to hijack the whole system and introduce all sorts of things which would not inure to the benefit of the world. It's nothing. It's a fashion. It's like when we were in school, we started with what do you call it? Those days when we went.
When you were in school,
you were not born. You were not born.
So we had.
I will try to remember what we call it. Layers. We call it. Shoes, but it was a high, whatever, layers, executive. We call it executive, but it was kind of layers. And we introduced a whole lot of things, and the way we did our belts, our hairstyle, and whatever. They are what call it? Is it demonstration?
Fashion?
They are. Sorry, say that again.
Fashion you're talking about?
What is fashion? I mean, they are. Give me the word. Supply me with the missing link.
No.
You're trying with all sorts of, when you try
Experiment.
something, experiment is the word I'm looking for. You're experimenting with all sorts of things. In the process, experimenting with our destiny. And it's important. Let's get this matter right. You don't call it rights. You don't call it religion. We're all happy to be on this earth. We're happy to be in this earth. The process is that you go through a certain process and then you get people on earth. They want to go through this. You said their doctors have told them that they would have enough people to populate this world, isn't it? By the process that they have adopted. Is that what you are telling me?
That's Honorable KT Hammond. He believes this whole thing is a waste of time. He's MPP MP for Adasse Asukwa. He believes that he has the majority of the House on his side, and he believes that this bill will go through. Even if there are technical challenges, they will be addressed and it will go through. Keep the conversation going. Thank you for watching.
They shouldn't keep it going. They shouldn't keep it going. There's no conversation to keep going.
It should be.
It's dead on arrival. It's not news. It's dead. It's ex-parrot.
My name is Umaru Sandamado. Thank you for watching Face to Face. Stay with City TV. It's your world.